With this lesson, we start talking about the 10th and last clause of the standard, which is of course improvement. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time we talk about improvement. We've briefly talked about improvement in the 7 principles of quality management. Now, the 10th clause, or improvement, is divided into 3 sub-clauses. The first one is a general talk, so general. Basically, the organization is required to determine and select opportunities for improvement and implement any necessary actions to meet customer requirements and enhance customer satisfaction. So the organization needs to seek out and realize improvement opportunities that will better enable it to achieve the intended outcomes of its quality management system. Now, when we say opportunities for improvement, there are a number of sources for improvement or for opportunities for improvement. We can name the results of analysis and evaluation of environmental, quality and health and safety performance, or compliance, or internal audits and management reviews. These are, as I said, sources for opportunities for improvement. Now, the organization is required to consider a few things when it considers the opportunities for improvement. The first one is meeting customer requirements and enhancing customer satisfaction by using satisfaction indicators or ratings and maybe warranty claims. The second thing is improving products and services to meet requirements as well as to address future needs and expectations by understanding contractual arrangements and implied customer expectations. Also, the organization is required to focus on improving the products and services like future needs, and like identifying future needs and expectation, like investing in the latest technology and innovation, and like improving reliability, reducing costs, and improving the on-time delivery. The organization also needs to consider correcting, preventing, or reducing undesired effects by investigating the root causes. And also it needs to prevent escapes of the customer, a customer that's coming but never coming back. And it also needs to act on customer feedback and or in service reports. Also, the organization needs to improve the performance and effectiveness of its quality management system by maybe acting on process performance results, by understanding audit findings, which we're going to talk about, of course, and by reducing waste, by processing re-engineering, by structural reorganization, and maybe by promoting breakthrough projects. Now, as for auditing this requirement, the auditor will first need to ensure that the organization has identified the opportunities for improvement and evaluate the actions that have been taken on those opportunities. The auditor then needs to look for evidence that the organization is analyzing the data from process monitoring and is then taking the results forward for evaluating process efficiency. The standard proposes a number of areas that an auditor could assess to obtain evidence and implementation of improvement, like internal communication, like follow-up activities, like documented procedures, like the effectiveness of management review meetings, like the customer feedback systems and training programs. And then the auditor will verify how the organization has determined a proposed rate of improvement. For example, in the aeronautical sector, the acceptable rate of non-conforming delivered products is 0%. So it would not be useful for the organization to set objectives for an improvement at that rate. However, it would be useful for the organization to have objectives aimed at improving its internal efficiency and competitiveness through maybe innovation. Now, one thing I should note here is that the auditor should remember that it would be unrealistic to expect an organization to make progress on all potential improvements simultaneously. So the auditor should seek to ensure that the improvement objectives are consistent overall. The second subclause of improvement is non-conformity and corrective action. This is where the organization is required to react to non-conformities and implement corrective actions whenever non-conformities are identified. So, whenever non-conformities are identified, the organization needs to follow a few steps. The first one is to react to the non-conformity and, as applicable, take action to control and correct it. So first of all, it needs to identify the problem, then it needs to do something about it, to take action and to fix it. And then it needs to deal with the consequences. It needs to deal with the impact that it had, like upsetting, like an upset customer. And then the organization needs to evaluate the need for action to eliminate the causes of the non-conformity in order that it does not happen again. It does not recur or occur elsewhere. And basically evaluating what went wrong to prevent it from happening again by reviewing the non-conformity and by determining the root causes of the non-conformity. Of course, using a root cause analysis needs to be in place. Some root cause analysis techniques may include the Pareto diagram or the Pareto chart or the fishbone diagram, also known as the cause-effect diagram, and also the failure mode and effects analysis, or the FMEA. And also you can name the fault tree analysis. All these are the root cause analysis techniques. Also by eliminating the causes, eliminating the causes could happen by determining if similar non-conformities exist or could potentially occur. The organization then needs to implement any action needed, and it needs to ensure that corrective actions are completed according to plan and they continue to be effective over time. So it needs to review the effectiveness of any corrective actions taken. Some examples of verification methods may include additional process monitoring, additional internal audits, or associated metrics, and so on. Now, the organization also needs to make changes whenever necessary to the quality management system. The organization also needs to retain documented information on the nature of non-conformities and actions taken, basically keeping records of all non-conformities and what the organization did to resolve them, and also retain documented information on the results of corrective actions, for example, the results of analysis, databases, or performance data. Now, as for auditing this requirement, the auditor needs to review any documented information about the non-conformity and the non-conformity management process. And also the auditor needs to conduct interviews with personnel to ensure that personnel are aware of the methods and actions taken against non-conformities. And also the auditor needs to evaluate the actions and methods used to deal with the non-conformities. Also, the auditor will check if the non-conformity is happening in other processes. In other words, is it happening elsewhere or any other areas of the organization. Continual improvement is the third subclause of improvement or clause 10, and is the final or the last requirement of the standard. It basically requires the organization to continually improve the suitability, the adequacy, and the effectiveness of its quality management system. The aim of continual improvement program is to increase the odds of satisfying customers by identifying areas that need improvement. So, identifying improvement opportunities and management system under performance with data analysis and evaluation, with internal auditing, with management review, and the use of appropriate tools and methodologies like the Six Sigma or benchmarking. And also by increasing the level of conforming outputs or products or services, and by improving the processes and reducing process variations in order to enhance general performance for the benefit of the customers and, of course, interested parties. So with this lesson, we finish up talking about the management system and the 10 clauses of the standard or ISO 9001, the 2015 revision. With the next lesson, we start talking about the management system auditing.